April 7th, 5:30. I call this meeting to order. First item of business is review and discuss the proposed Exceptional Student Services Program model for the 2026-2027 school year. Mr. Jimenez.
Okay.
Oh,
It's
starting this off.
okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I got the last name.
My apologies.
Not a problem. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming to the special study session, special study session. We know you'll be here next week, but we really do want to share this information with you. I was at the board not too long ago, and I did have a conversation. Well, I provided some information about the growth of ESS. And I really tried to give you the detailed information so that you can see how much we've grown, and we foresee us to continue on that pathway in the incoming years. So we also talked about phase 1, and we also talked about phase 2. And we know the situation that we're in. We have a high ESS population, and we also have a lot of our special education population that are being bused into schools that are in town from the east. So we've been really taking time in looking at all of that since we've come on board. So we've know we have a problem and we have a solution that we want to share with you today. Okay? So everyone in your folder should have this. You should have 3 packets. You should have the Exceptional Student Services Program proposal for 26-27 school year. That's what we're going to start off with. And then we do have a legend that will go with the thick packet. Okay? And we will start off with the Exceptional Student Services Program proposal for 26-27 school year. In that presentation that I did at the board meeting, we talked about the numbers for preschool, and we service preschool kids ages 3 to 5. So they're in our program for 3 years. When they're going to go into kindergarten, we have to complete transition meetings. And we have to do that for our preschool kids. We also have to do that for our 4th graders going into 5th grade and our 8th graders going into high school. So that's what these numbers are here. We have a total of 153 transitions currently that will be scheduled for our preschool to kindergarten kiddos. And this number is, it's not final. We're still in school and we still evaluate. So this number will potentially, not potentially, it will grow. It will definitely grow. And then you see that our 5th, I'm sorry, I said 4th to 5th, it's 5th to 6th. Our 5th to 6th graders that are transitioning are 179 children. So this is higher than prior years. We've known that there's been a growth in our elementary schools, and we felt that we had, it's going to get to our middle schools, but we still have time for that. That's what we were thinking. However, we're seeing that it's already here. This is a higher number from prior years of our kiddos going from 5th grade to 6th grade. And then we have our 8th grade high school kids that are transitioning out, and that's 129. So you can see the difference in how many kids are coming into kindergarten, how many kids are going into 6th grade, and we have a smaller number going into high school.
Just curiosity question. Is just looking at the numbers, right? So 153 to 179. Are some of the students evaluated in 1st and 2nd grade that
Yes.
maybe wasn't caught? The parents.
Yeah.
Okay. So that shows where that growth is, where the student through their activity at school, we say, hey, we need to evaluate. Okay.
The number of evaluations we have from preschool come from the community within Yuma School District 1 boundaries. However, that's just, the referrals that we get. But when we have kids constantly enrolling, and we have kids constantly being identified as having concerns and possibly needing an evaluation. So that number, yes, it does grow.
most of the referrals come from our staff, our teachers that see children struggling or?
Yes, so we are, for every new student, we do a 45-day screener. And so that's the first thing that we do when we have a new student in our classrooms. That's what the teachers do. If there is an identified concern, then what are we doing with that concern? So we start monitoring it and providing interventions. And if the interventions are not helping, then we submit a referral for an evaluation. Mm-hmm. And this is for every grade level, K through 8th grade. Some kids may not, we may not identify a concern within the 45 days.
Mm-hmm.
However, later,
Right.
we're constantly looking at that. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's good.
Any other questions? No? Okay. So then we have the next slide, or the next page, which is our current model is on the left-hand side, and then we have the proposed model. So first, we're going to focus on that current model that we have. If you look on the left-hand side, I do have level A, level B, level C, and level S. Those are the type of programs that we have within our school district currently. So you'll see that in that table, we have currently 13 programs. So the level A, every school site has a resource model, which is a resource program, which is that kids with special education, they need some level of support. And then we have the level B, which are developmental inclusion programs, developmental delay programs, and then we have cross-categorical programs, and we have autism inclusion programs. That's all in level B, which is that they need more of the support. Some support, these children in the level B support, they need more support. So those are the type of programs that we have within our school district currently. And you can see that the resource program that's in green, we have it at every school. However, these level B programs, we do not have it at every school. The level C is moderate for our primary. And then we also have our moderate for intermediate and middle school. And then we have our autism classrooms. These in blue are that need most support. Okay, so the level of support is increasing. And if you look in the parentheses as well, we don't have that type of program at every school. So it's only at some schools. Yeah. And then we have the level S, which are in purple. We have the extensive support, intensive support, comprehensive support, and level B, and then comprehensive support level C. I missed the B and C. And then the foundations of autism classrooms. This is the highest level of support. So then the green is some support. In the orangey color, it's more support. Most support is in blue, and then highest level of support. The level D is our Learn Academy. Okay. So what does this mean? This is where we face a problem. Is we have not every school has a design special education program to meet the needs of the kids on their campus, okay? So, and the reason why I say that, I do have an activity to try to, I hope I'm able to do it so that we can see what our kids go through when they qualify for a specific disability, an eligibility, and what we do with our current model and what that does to our children, okay? So you do have, this is why I handed this. I didn't, yeah. We've done this. We've done this.
I think this might be for you.
I'm not sure. And then you do have little teddy bear, which is our child.
And they say the same thing. They're just different colors.
Yes, you have a teddy bear with our child.
Okay.
So you have this sheet in front of you, and what we're going to do first is focus on the current model. We're not going to do anything with the proposed model.
Okay.
First, current model, and we're going to place our teddy bear where it says current model. And this is a school number 1. That's what I named it. Okay? It's school number 1. And this is our child, our student that is a general education student. He's gone through the 45-day screener, identified concerns, has gone through the SAT process, evaluation process, and he's qualified for special education in the area of, and he now has a category of developmental delay. Okay, so he's a DD, which we have in our information. So here's our child that was gen ed, has qualified for a developmental delay category, now eligible to receive special education services. So he's here in school number 1. He has plenty of friends. He's been going to this school and he loves it. He's developed a relationship with the principal, with his teacher, and with his neighborhood kids that he's growing up with. But he is developmentally delayed, and that's his eligibility. We can see what special education programs we have at this school number 1. This school has a comprehensive support, which is a level S, and this school has a resource program, which is some support. So when you're developmental delay, we mentioned that there's DD inclusion, which is more support. And then we have a developmental delay where they need more of that support. So currently in our model, it's based off of the eligibility and based off of the need. So do we have a DD? This child needs a level B, right? He's developmentally delayed and he needs a level B, which is in the orange color. So looking at the current model, do we have the program for this child? No. So what we do for this child, we say he is a 6-year-old. What we do for this child is we then have to look at our other schools and see which school is the closest that has the program and has availability. So here I did put down at the bottom, which is school number 2. If we look at school number 2, do we see that that site has a DD program?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So little Johnny will move to school number 2.
I think his name should be Teddy.
Teddy. Okay. Teddy. So Teddy is moving to a DD program at school number 2. So remember, he's developed a relationship with the principal, with the teachers, with his neighborhood kids, and now he's having to change schools. So he was established at school number 1. He's got to move. This child is 6, and he's got a category of developmental delay. At the age of 8, at the age of 8, that category has to change. Mm-hmm. Yes. So here's this child that started in school number 2 at age 6. He's been there for 2 years. Category has to change. What do we do then? Okay. Let's say the category changed to he may need some support, or he may need most support. So if Teddy needs some support, will he be able to stay at school number 2? If he needs resource support, R.
Yes.
Yes? But is his home school number 2?
No.
So
Go back.
so we would have to have conversations about, does he stay here or does he go back to his home school? And these are situations that really do happen. Now, if he does need most support, which is in the blue, do we have an MID, a moderate program here at this school?
No.
We don't.
So he'll go to a 3rd school.
So he would go to a 3rd school. Yes.
I get an A for today.
And this is not only for kiddos with developmental delay. Yes, that category has to change for them, but we do face these situations with our autism kids. It's the same. When I presented at the board meeting, we saw that our numbers have grown exponentially in autism and in our developmentally delayed area. So those are the two. Those are usually, the two. So a lot of our schools don't have the autism program. But, what do we do? So it's a similar situation. The only difference is that the category doesn't change at age 8. However, the level of need may change. And if he's at a program, he or she are at a program where they're providing the moderate support, and this child needs less support, that school may not have it. So then what do we do? That could be another change for that child as well. Questions?
No, I'm liking Teddy so far.
You're liking Teddy. Okay, so yes, so Teddy has had some changes, some changes in his education career so far. Now I'm going to go into the proposed model. Okay, the proposed model also has level A, level B, and level C, which level A is also the resource, some support, level B, moderate support, the more support, and then level C, most. So there's a big difference between what we have on the left-hand side, and there's a big difference on what we have on the proposed model, right? Current model, proposed model, big difference in the program types. So what we are proposing is to establish or create each level at each school site, which would be every school site would have a level A, every school site would have a level B, and every school site will have a level C. So when it comes to the level S, intensive, that'll be exactly the same as we have in the current model, because not every school site needs a specialized program. So the specialized programs that we currently have will stay. There will not be any, our foundations of autism, our comprehensive B and C, and our extensive support programs and intensive supports, they'll stay. We hope that with this model in the future, it would provide an opportunity to duplicate some of these programs as needed, but in the East, because we currently have them in town. Okay. So what this proposed model does is it provides an opportunity to provide all levels of support, the 3 levels of support that we just talked about, at every single school site. So if Teddy were to if we're talking about the proposed model now, and this is school number 1, and we have level A resource, that's in green in our proposed model with Teddy, and then we have a level B, which is our moderate support that we want to call it. But it's the same, the more support, and then the extensive, which is in blue, is what we would call our classrooms that need most of that support. So now we have Teddy, and we said he qualified for a developmental delay category. He's the age of 6, and I know we don't see the category on here. However, per IDEA and per ADE, we should be looking at the level of need when kids are qualifying for special education services, and that's what this program would be offering. Is if he is our DD kiddo, right? Our DD kiddo that has qualified, and he needed that the more support level, which is the level B. Now, does the school number 1 have that program for Teddy?
Yes.
Yes. Now, what if Teddy was in that classroom and he's just struggling, and we find that he needs more support? Is there a classroom there that would be able to provide that child more of that support that that child needs, which would be our extensive. Yes. Now, if Teddy were to need more of a specialized program, then that's the only time Teddy would move schools. If we would not be able to meet Teddy's individual needs at his current school based off of having these models at having these different levels at the school site. So instead of looking at the category and the need, we would like to move towards a model where it's about the individual need of every single child that we're servicing. And we would still have our level D, which is the day school.
Does that change the amount of classrooms, or is the classroom numbers staying the same? Are the amount of teachers staying the same? They're
I
just
think I
changing
saw that.
So we can, that goes,
Are you looking ahead?
I am a teacher's pet.
yeah. We can, if we turn the page, and we can turn it again. So the difference in the models. So the current model, we would actually need, I skipped this. In the current model, we would actually need 12 additional classrooms
In the current?
in the current.
Okay, I see it 12.
Yes, a 12 down here at the bottom. Mhm.
And 7 for the proposed.
And then for the proposed, we need 7. Yes.
So we're reducing 5.
We are reducing. Mhm.
Well, reducing the need, but growing the number of classrooms that we'll
Yes.
have. So instead of adding 12, we'll just add 7.
So this would be additional. And the reason why is because we have our preschool to kinder kids. So we have 54 kindergarten kids in the east only, not counting the ones in town except for Raleigh. So we do have 54 incoming kindergarten kids that will have to be bused if we keep the current model.
Okay.
Yes, so they would have to be
That's right.
bused, or we do have a school that is at capacity with this current model because they have the programs that other kids need, so they're feeding into that school. However, it's causing a problem for their own kids. So the kids that have qualified, that are kinder kids, that should be going to the specific school, can't because it's over capacity. And those are the details that you'll have over in the packet. We'll be able to show you those details as well.
So is the relaxing of the need of the 12 to the 7 because these children will go back to their home schools?
Yes.
And reduce the number of, okay.
Yes. Mhm.
So the intent would be the kids can
The
go back.
intent would be, yes.
Keeping
The
them in their
intent
home
would be,
Right.
How
How
staying at their
successful
home
do we
school.
think we'd be at that? Because I know as a parent, if you're
Mhm.
currently in something that works well and knowing some kids disruption can cause
Mhm.
chaos at home and school. I know this looks amazing. Are we going to provide additional support for the parents or something to make that transition? Because I know me as a parent, if it's working, I'm not going to change it.
Mhm.
And so then you potentially end up in the same population need for these schools.
So what we have thought of is, in the east is very challenging to do that. However, in our in-town schools, we do have the opportunity to provide parents that choice if there's capacity. As we roll this out, and we want to roll it out, and one of the things it'll do is, it's over here in this page, but our classroom sizes with our current model, they're currently over capacity, and we would be able to see that in
Show
the,
them.
yes, in the detailed information that we have. We can actually go to it now. That's not a problem. If we go to this packet,
Are we done with Katie?
we're done with Teddy. We could set him aside. So here is the legend on what all of these colors mean. It's another stapled.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. It's underneath that.
Oh, this,
Yes, that one.
I thought you were reading this page.
Yes. We'll use both of these.
Oh, got it.
Mhm. So then we do have, we created a legend for you, and it's the orange boxes are the incoming kinder children. So if we look at Sunrise, all of the orange are the incoming. We do have the current model on the left side, and then the proposed model on the right-hand side. The green boxes are the incoming sixth grade children, which are our middle schools are over in the back, so that's where you'll see the green. Okay? And then the gray boxes are currently enrolled children. So you'll see the currently enrolled. And then the faded gray, these are kiddos that may potentially be ready for a different program, that they're doing very well in the program that they're in and could possibly start in a different program in the new school year. We do have some yellow boxes that you'll see throughout the packet, and the yellow color is our out-of-district kiddos. So we do have those identified as well. The faded yellow are our out-of-district kiddos that are doing very well in that classroom that could potentially go to a classroom where there's less level of support. And then we have a red outline indicator, which means that the classrooms are over capacity at this point. And the staff ratios are in the back of the legend. You'll see the staff ratios. And the schools, they're abbreviated. So what we did is, in the current model, you will see some abbreviations, and they're in a different color, like a red or a burgundy. So those are kids that are at that school that are not at their home school. Mm-hmm. So if we look at Sunrise, the current model, DD inclusion, that's 10 to 12 student ratio. So currently it's at 12. And then our other DD program, so it is at 12, that should be our cap. You'll see that the second DD program at Sunrise would be at 20. And then our autism, our ratio for autism, I'll look over here, ratio for autism is also 10 to 12. It's currently at 15. And this is to start the new school year. And then we have the autism 2 to 5. It's also capping between 10 and 12. We have it currently at 14. So it's not including the kids that will possibly need a program within the school year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially any of them that aren't in preschool right now that they're not
Mhm.
identified, and they show up for kinder, and then you assess. And
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, so you see that here, DD and autism ratios are 10 to 12. We have 22 incoming kinders for Sunrise only. They need at least one more classroom. However, the situation here is that they have no space, 0. So we're looking at 22 kids only at Sunrise. This is their home school, kinder kids, because they're in orange, that will need a classroom somewhere in town. So we would be busing our youngest children, which are 5 turning 6, with a disability. The proposed model, yes, the ones in Burgundy, they would, if we move forward with the proposed model here, because there is no space, then we would have the conversations with the parents in regards to having to move towards the proposed model.
But part of
Which
that
would be-
conversation is assuring parents that with providing services ABC, at every school that your
Yes.
child's not at risk if they change,
Yes.
that they're gonna have to move.
Should be the
anyway.
last
Again,
move
it
unless they
should
need a
be-
highly
yes.
specialized classroom.
Correct.
If you look at the proposed model, the kindergarten children that belong there, they would stay there. But look at what it also does to
Some of the numbers,
the ratios.
like the 20 to
Mhm.
14. Yeah.
And you will see that throughout, that
Yeah.
it really, really does impact that ratio, which in turn, that's better for our teachers, that's better for our children, and we can then focus on that quality
Like
that
Otondo,
are providing.
24 to 14,
Mhm.
21 to 14.
Yes.
I think some of this data here in itself would help parents make the decision. One, this is potentially the last move your child will have to make,
Mhm.
and they're gonna go into a properly ratioed
Mhm.
classroom.
Yes.
Mhm.
So with that ratio going down, does that mean that you start dropping paras too?
With the ratio going
The
down,
ratio of number of
Supposed to be
kids, or is that?
reallocated to a different classroom. They would just, if they're not at Dorothy Hall or Desert Mesa, they might be at Pecan Grove.
so the
Okay, so the
model,
ratio stayed the same, but those were just being moved out, the overages. And
so
this-
yes, usually when it goes over capacity, that's when we're requesting additional para support. Mhm. So they're temporary, so we visit that every year. So our classroom ratios, including the teachers, are here. So you can see what our programs would need, what the amount of teachers, which is one. And then usually they need, if it's a resource, one para. If it's a level B, 3 paras. If it's a level C, 3 paras as well.
We're adding 7 classrooms.
Yeah, they
Para
added the
numbers are
classrooms
going
too.
up,
You
not
have a
down.
need.
So there would be
Yes.
a drastic change in the para ratios.
Yeah.
Classrooms,
Mhm.
Ratios wouldn't change, but the number of paras
Right.
might.
Yes.
Right.
Because if we've had to add extra this year, they would no longer need those extras, but
We have
like you
7
said,
classrooms,
we
right?
might be
7 new
putting them
classes.
somewhere
Yeah.
else. It's not, we don't foresee anybody losing their job.
No.
We have plenty of opportunities for
Right.
Oh, Teddy's.
I heard of Teddy.
Yeah, I know. But if you can go ahead and look through the packet if you would like. Mhm.
The numbers on the proposed model just stand out as looks better.
Mhm.
So a lot of the conversation, or, kind of our thought behind it when Erica brought it forward was, regardless of model, there's gonna be some tension, right? There's gonna be kindergartners, they can't go to their home school, they have to be bused into town. If you have a new model where people are taken back to their home school, provided that opportunity, some will love it, some may not love it, right? There's gonna be some tension throughout the system. Not everyone's gonna love what direction we go. And so that's some of the conversation we wanted to have, is bringing the idea forward that, one, the current model is just unaffordable. You'll see
Yeah,
in
you'll see it.
one of the, I don't remember which, I think it was the first packet
The
we
first
looked at, I believe.
There
You'll
is a
see that
cost
if we
comparison.
add 12 classrooms, you're at $2.7 million in
Mhm.
additional expenses. Whereas the other model is only 1.6, neither of which we have flowing out of our pockets.
I love you said only.
Yeah. But 1.6 is a little bit easier than, 2.7 in terms of trying to figure that out and work through that. Getting additional students will help offset some of that. So it becomes an easier offset at 1.6 than it is at 2.7. And so that's one of the benefits, is being a little bit cheaper, a system where students can go to their home school and stay at their home school. That's one of the major challenges that we have right now, like she demonstrated. Teddy had to go to 3 different schools, whereas now Teddy would be able to stay at the same school and be paired with students who are similar in need, rather than just you have the same label, so you're all in the classroom, but the needs could be levels apart. Whereas at least in this scenario, Teddy's coupled with another kid or matched with other students who are similar in their need, and it's much easier for those teachers and parents to be able to work with those students and help them kind of grow and advance according to their IEPs and their needs. So that's one of the huge benefits too that we see. But there's going to be some tension or some challenges with either system. So that's why we wanted to kind of propose both of those and get some feedback or thoughts from the board on what you guys think. Because this is, we need to make a decision on what next year looks like, whether it stays with the current system or moves to a different model, and we need to start communicating that out. And so we just wanted some feedback from you guys on these models.
Does the district currently provide transportation? So if my student's supposed to go to Raleigh, but they're going to Desert Mesa, so the district also has that transportation
Yes.
cost?
Yeah.
Yes, as well.
Just for these programs, not for,
Only for,
yeah,
for these programs.
Yes,
Any
it's in
other
their
student that would
IEP, we
have-
transport them wherever they're.
If the district
School
is
is.
moving them, like if I don't go to my home school,
Yep.
you have to provide, otherwise if it's in my IEP, the team, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
The
so
other-
transportation.
The other piece of information that is really important with the proposed model, we probably can't do it starting. However, we do have a lot of opportunities with the proposed model to group these classrooms by grade band. Currently, we have a lot of classrooms that are 1 through 5th grade, 1st through 5th grade. Yes. And how would we break it up? It would depend. As we start, we would see the need, but we would love to do K2 or K3, and then 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What prompted this? What's the why?
The why is because, sustainability, and this is also a framework that is going to support the ESS growth that we are experiencing. We're experiencing it, and we are having to bus a lot of our kindergarten kids preschool kids going into kindergarten. We are having to bus them to a school that is not their home school. We've felt it last year, where we did have a lot of that, and then this current model will not be able to continue to sustain the ESS growth that we're seeing. The proposed model is, the way we envision it, is it's a framework that we don't plan on changing, that we plan that will support currently our elementary needs, but also be ready for our middle school when that number, it's already getting there. So it's when that number continues to increase. This is the model that will be able to sustain that and continue to sustain the ESS growth. So, I mean, we're in a very difficult spot right now, and we've been experiencing it in prior years. So this is something that we feel will, yes, be a challenge at the beginning, but once we establish it, because the other focus would be focusing on the quality of what we're providing in our classrooms. It's giving us that opportunity. So we know it may be challenging for some of the families at first, but our goal is that once they start hearing what's happening at their home school, that they're going to want to go back to their home school. And we are taking into consideration the 5th graders that have been there for several years. We're taking that into consideration, and also our 8th graders that have, they're about to go to high school. So we are looking at different situations and taking those into consideration with the proposed model.
What is,
Go ahead.
what, in your review and your research, what are the roadblocks that you're considering these parents are going to have? I mean, me as a parent, I would want my kid to stay at one school. I wouldn't want my kid traveling from school to school to school. I don't see a negative in that. What are the negatives that we're looking at?
The challenge that they faced, and now they're probably, like Teddy, he went to a school probably that he wasn't supposed to go to, and it was challenging. However,
That was
he's
his
established friends. It's that type
Well, and
of
humans
situation.
change is hard, whether you give them $1 million or you
Mhm.
change the school. I mean, I think,
Established relationships.
Yeah. With the
student to
teacher.
student, that
I think
my
when you have-
friends,
When you have a challenged
teachers.
child,
Mhm.
you're giving them normalcy. You're giving them comfort. You're giving them one place rather than, I don't like it here, but I like it there. and
yeah,
then
but if
dealing
they've
with that
already
every
had
day.
2 changes, in a parent's eyes, I can imagine that like, whoa, like I know that the vision is this and it might be best, but though that's my home school, Teddy's already experienced 2 changes, and now you're wanting me to go back to the original homeschool. I don't believe you, Erica, that he's not gonna move again. I mean, to me, I foresee that as a parent may have these fears, and I've heard it from ESS parents, like they've already had to move and I mean, with intervention at an earlier age, that's ideal. But if you have someone who's DD, and I've had several friends, that's the case, they're not quite ready for that diagnosis. And so at 8 years old, they have to figure it out. And then all of a sudden it's an ASD diagnosis. And they're like, but this school is not qualified to do it. But then what happens is they've been in that school for multiple years. So now to meet the need, the best interest of the child is to move, but that's a change, and that consistency it's going to impact the child. And so I think, though it makes sense, lower numbers, the homeschool, I mean, I think it wins in the end for sure. It's a change communication strategy that you got to be a part of, and you got to be willing to listen and understand that. And like, to your point, there may be someone that they're going into their 5th grade year and they don't really want to move back to their home school because they've been there forever. So those are the exceptions possibly, right?
One of the other challenges is proximity to work. So if I work really close to this school and I can be there faster to respond, I don't want my child to move to a different location, or proximity to maybe grandma or grandpa or, whoever I have that might be able to help or support. You'll see the slide at the end of the first packet we looked at. We did a survey. By we, I mean Erica.
The district.
But there was a survey that went out, and you'll see the two questions that kind of maybe shed some light on the question that you just asked on, is your child attending their home school, yes or no? And then if they could attend their home school, would you be interested? And 56% said yes, they are interested. So that's still a majority. But there's, 33% of the respondents said no. So, we obviously are going to anticipate some pushback or some challenge or some questions, or maybe a larger depth of understanding of why my kid needs to move.
Yeah.
And, like the example was given, if my kid has moved twice in 4 years, I don't want to move again. I'm good where I'm at. And so those are just some of the things that we're anticipating. We might have to kind of communicate and work through as we progress.
And this survey was just ESS population or in general?
Yes.
It's just, okay.
So with that all said, Teddy likes school number 2 better than homeschool. Will this be opportunity for Teddy just to do open enrollment in the school that they like? Is that is their prime school now? They're making school number 2 their home school instead of homeschool being homeschool? And is it the teachers maybe that they're having the issue with, that maybe they like this teacher over here better than this teacher, and maybe the qualification might be different? The answer to that to me, if they don't like it over here, they have open enrollment that they could easily go over there as long as it's available, right?
Yes.
So they still
That
go
sounds
back
good.
to trying to keep them in the same school all day long.
It all depends on the capacity, and
That's
then
the issue in the east,
capacity.
right?
In the east,
Yeah.
yes, we would have that issue where we would not be able to provide that in the east.
Okay.
However, if there is, if Teddy is currently in a in-town school and there's space, and we also have to look at, the kids that percentage, that threshold of kids that may possibly qualify for special education services, that may need that classroom. So we have to look at those factors before saying yes.
Right.
However, they can apply for open enrollment, and we would have to look at every situation.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There is no 100% formula for everything,
Yes.
for anything. The majority rules,
Mhm.
and I like what I see, and I think that could be an answer if they don't like their homeschool and they have opportunity to make secondary school homeschool, then they should have that opportunity, and let them just do that, and that can solve that problem. That could win over more of the majority, I would think.
In that scenario where you have a child that's, their IEP puts them on a bus to another school, and this goes through, and the parent says, well, I don't want to go to my home school. Now, does that relieve the district of the transportation obligation because the services are available in the home school and the parents are choosing?
Yes.
Okay, so our transportation scenario should completely eliminate itself under this.
Right.
If not, maybe one bus,
Right.
but we'll take that. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
a
that's
condition of
also
open
another-
enrollment, a condition of open enrollment is they're responsible for their own transportation.
Right.
Right,
Gen
and
ed or special ed.
Right.
Right, but if it's an IEP, it's not available in the home school, we're
Then we're on.
We're obligated, yeah.
we're obligated, but then,
Correct.
so there's another factor that's gonna help
Mhm.
with kids staying at their home
Mhm.
school. Okay.
And I think until they were able to see what actually is established at their home school, it's going to be hard for them to judge because all they know is what they have right now.
Yeah.
They don't know what it's going to look like at their home school. But I think as soon as they start to realize, oh, your school looks exactly like her school, which is exactly like my school, and it's exactly, all the programs are the same, there's no need for me to put my kid on a bus all the way across town.
Right.
It's going to stay right here. I think it's going to take time for them to see that, but once they do, it will be an easier decision. It's hard when you just look at the questions on a paper sometimes, think,
Oh, yeah.
oh, I'll just stay where I'm comfortable, but I think that will come out.
Right. And the
And I
middle
see
school,
those not sure on there too. I think that's pretty high, and I think
Yeah.
it's just they don't know.
they don't know what's being offered.
Yeah.
They don't have
And
the
maybe if they
details.
move so much, they're not really sure what.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the the projected loss of income with the preschool tuition classroom at Dorothy Hall being closed? I mean, I don't know how much, like how, I think it's at full capacity for that preschool right now. I just didn't know because I know it's a tuition classroom. What's that revenue loss? Do you know what that would look like for a year?
The revenue loss is,
Very minimal because the expenses are right there.
Okay.
yeah, there is, yeah.
I just saw that on the space, like, and I don't know, I guess I make it probably a very big assumption, but like, it seems to me that certain schools have a higher population of ESS in general because of their specialized programs. And what I've heard, whether it's just because that's the lens in which those teachers and pairs are working in, is that this may actually create a little bit of relief for some of the schools. Does that seem like, because it's, though each school will have these resources, it's not like one school has 12 or 15 classrooms, because that seems to be another layer of complexity and hardship, you know, that these teachers are, you know, and principals and so forth. That's what it seems like. It kind of
Yes.
helps as
I
well.
think one of the most eye-opening scenarios for us is when we worked on Pecan Grove. Pecan Grove, other than resource sheet, they didn't have any of their own kids at their school, none.
Mm.
All of them were bused to other schools.
And if you look at O.C. Johnson on here, an entire autism classroom at O.C. Johnson was all Pecan Grove kids.
And then so when we have charts up in the office that we, you know, move little kids around in their carts. When we went to the proposed model, Pecan Grove was like, oh my gosh, it looks like a real school. I mean,
Yeah.
all their kids were back. It was just amazing.
So this is currently Pecan Grove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then with the proposed model, this is Pecan Grove.
And they have the space.
Yes.
And
They
yeah,
have
Nicole.
I love that
Yeah,
school.
she loved it.
I
Yes.
love that school. Yeah.
Has this, when we talk about communication strategy, has this been communicated internally, and what's the support from staff and principals?
We have met with our elementary and middle school administrators, so this information has been shared with them. They're just waiting. They're just waiting to see what direction we go into.
So
We
they're-
asked
they're
them
all
not to talk
optimistic.
to
Yep,
teachers
they're
yet
ready.
until you really had.
Because I think you want that support internally first from teachers being positive about it, even
Mhm.
reassuring a family, you're gonna be, if your homeschool, it's the same program, you're gonna find this great teacher. And then what's the strategy for the families?
Yeah.
How do you plan to handle that?
So we do plan to have events for our families in the different areas and have conversations. So open forums, but an opportunity for them to ask questions and for us to be able to answer. Yes. we
I
do.
mean, to this piece, and I don't, like the cart and the horse and all of that stuff, but like, to me, I could foresee maybe, even though it seems like there's a lot of wonderful things about this, is if the first time a teacher hears about it
Yes.
at the board meeting, or what happens is like, a lot of them aren't here at the board meeting, but like us who are all not employed by the district make this decision. And without information, we make up our own information. And so I worry a little bit, and I don't know, is there an opportunity for the principals to be able to say, this is some of the reasons why in the data, and this is proposed, it's not guaranteed, but to Lisa's point around introducing this piece and the why behind it, because they feel like, oh, you have taken into consideration and you have heard our worries and all that. So I just wonder, because it's, even though all of this is done by you all and not us, sometimes when we're the ones voting on it, it's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Why are you? So I don't know.
And I think we talked, if we get the go-ahead, like all hands on deck, we need to go to the school sites. And we need to deliver that message with the principals so that we can be there to answer those questions. I don't think it's fair to put that on our principals.
No, you have the data, you have the
Because
information.
they don't know
Yeah,
that as well yet. But we could stand with them in there and meet with their teachers before, you know, and just say, this is what's coming, you know, we have great presentation to show them. And then in moving forward, you know, again, it's calling parents, you know, on the phone, you know, making sure that everybody is informed. And so it's, open
Yeah.
communication. We have to get that message out.
Do you
But-
think before the board meeting, like for transparency purposes, I would want to share that ahead of time before a board votes on it? I don't know, just.
Well, if I understand what we just heard, you have had these meetings with the teachers and the
No, the
principals
principals,
already.
not the
Principals.
teachers, because they didn't know if we were gonna be open
Oh,
for
I thought you
this,
said
so.
that the teachers have already been notified and they're all in
Yeah.
also.
No.
No,
No.
administrators.
Just administrators. Okay, yeah, they need to know. Teachers need to know.
Well, right, and we didn't want to do that
Until you
without
talk to them,
having
yeah.
to see if
Pending
you
board
guys
approval.
Yeah.
were on board with us.
Yeah.
And then, like we said, we're just waiting, and then we're gonna
And then, so a couple
So
things,
you have
because
the
we
letter
have,
ready for tomorrow, right?
you give us the okay, absolutely, we will.
the transition meetings that these 153,
Yes.
178, so I can't imagine, I'm sure some of them have already been happening.
No, we told them
We've
all.
also started.
Okay, cool. I'm just, so, that sucks because you got a lot to do before the end of the year. But with that, to that piece is that if that, then you have information that's ready and available when you go there. That's where I was just, so this is also timely because that's why we have this meeting now, because if we seem like we're going in that way, then you can start to have these conversations.
Yes.
Okay. I'm feeling better about the
Is
communication.
this anticipated for next week's meeting?
So here was kind of the thought process, since this is an internal programmatic change, it doesn't require a vote. This is the direction that we're
Oh, nice.
We're
Okay.
interested in going and wanted to have some dialogue. Now, if you guys feel like it would be the most appropriate thing for you guys to vote on the direction,
Nope.
I suppose we can do that. But my idea was to sit down and just really have this conversation and
I like
flesh
that.
out the challenges that you see with the challenges that we've seen. But our plan, as long as there's no significant pushback, is to move forward with it and start the communications and share it. So there won't be really a public vote on it next week, so the teachers won't hear it at that point, but it gives us the chance to kind of roll out the communication from here. Here's what we're planning to do. Here are the challenges. Here's the reason why it's great for kids. It's, all those kind of benefits. And so that was my thought process around having this, just to kind of have that open dialogue around what we're planning on, so that you guys can be as informed as possible on what direction we'd like to go.
I'm just going to say it again. I'm proud of you. I'm glad that you are here in the position. I trust you, and I believe that this will work.
Thank you.
Yeah, I trust you on this.
I appreciate that. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but this will be the framework that
So you
will
got my
set us up for
unofficial vote.
success. Thank you.
The data's hard to argue with, right? I mean, you have cost savings and you have
Keeping them in one
the
place.
Classroom
I mean,
reduction, not interrupting children. I mean,
And one benefit you don't see on here is that they get to stay in the same school with their siblings.
Yep.
And that has often been a concern for
Yep.
parents. I have 2 Christmas programs to go to. I have 2
Yes.
open houses to go to. Because I'm going to both of my, schools for my kids. So I think that is going to be a really nice thing for families and for siblings to be able to stay together at the same site you don't see that on these reports, but that's a huge benefit to the program.
Yeah, this just says from the district perspective, the message you're sending is families and students first.
Yes.
I'm a true believer that every student has the right public education to attend their neighborhood school.
Yes.
And
Amen.
and then you are directly aligned with the high school district.
Yep.
Yes.
Like you said, these 8th graders then need to transition, right?
They
And
go to their home, so their
Yeah.
state, you have the right to stay
Yeah.
with your neighborhood.
And their
that
friends are then
comfort, that
going,
support,
that's-
that environment,
And
the
they go to high
families.
school with all their
that
friends
truly
as
that
I mean,
well.
it's the reason why the McKinney-Vento and all this stuff is like these
Mhm.
children to be able, that's
Stay.
their one
Support.
stable environment at times. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so
That was a big
Great
driver for the shift too, to add to kind of what Erica was saying, was it's what's best for the kids, to
Yes.
give them the chance to be where they deserve to be.
Yeah.
students first.
We couldn't do that before, and that's what we want to do now.
excellent.
Awesome.
I'm in.
All right. You're all in.
We have a lot of work to do tomorrow.
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 We're starting tonight.
Hey, this is an hour and a half, and we still got like 30 minutes
We forgot 30 minutes.
to record a video for the.
We'll do a TikTok real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, gosh, man, let's
I think Keith is gonna be
Everybody's-
the
I'm not doing a TikTok.
You
What
can
I
fly
would've-
in from the parking lot or
If
something.
nobody has any more comments.